This was the scene a moment ago as the Bears emerge from their tunnel. Ready for football are they, and ready for football are we as the Bears get set to match up with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The shadows starting to get a bit longer. Week 10 of the NFL season is here, and we're underway on EA Sports. And he's probably realizing he should have stayed in the end zone as he can only muster a return to the 14-yard line. Coming out with a jumbo package to start the drive. Leo. First carry now for David Montgomery. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this across the 25-yard line.
Well, there's plenty of real estate for him to maneuver on that run, and let's face it, it shouldn't be a surprise. He's one of the better backs in the league. Had to come into this game with the idea, slow him down, otherwise it's going to be a long afternoon.
On 1st and 10, it's Lawrence. Jaguar pressure and a Jaguar sack. Josh Allen able to record his 5th sack of the season. So that time, Charles, quarterback helpless really in the pocket in the face of a pass rush like that. They were on him instantly.
And it appears that this was just a letdown from the offensive line, but they do have a tough job because if you're a big tackle out there on the perimeter, sometimes you don't have the agility to keep up with the defensive end who's looking to wreak havoc in the backfield, and he got there and put his man on the ground.
He finds his man, complete. It's Osborne. They get 16 out of that one, but they'll still need to convert on 3rd. Good job there to locate his tight end, Charles, in the middle of the field.
Yeah, he has good pass-catching abilities, and if they're able to continue to find him here in the early going, I think it'll
hit as he throws, and the ball is out. It's a live football, and the Jags grab it. And he brings this one back. A fumble return for a Jacksonville score. And give some kudos to the defensive coordinator, I think, here. They bring the blitz, they dial it up, and it turns into 6 points for them.
It's so nice to hear you actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice. You're such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big play resulted for his guys.
Well, you like the credit to the defense there, right, my friend?
Yeah, do I ever?
Extra point tacked on by Lambeau, and that makes the score 7-0. So here's the kickoff now as he'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. And we'll see a return here from the end zone. And not a very good return at all as he won't even get this back to the 15. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. 1-7 their record here at the midway point of the season, and right now this organization, more than likely if you look at it, CD, probably in for a rough second half of the season.
Well, we've seen teams turn things around in other places. I mean, we've seen 1-7 first halves turn into 5-3 second halves, but with this squad, I think these guys aren't playing to get into the playoffs. They're playing for their jobs. So's the coaching staff. They're coaching for theirs. Front office trying to keep theirs. The heat is on from all directions. And what's interesting is a lot of these guys are playing for jobs and trying to keep their positions. It might be just in the league in some other spot.
Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
That's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
Following the penalty, Montgomery. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. That's going to go as a loss of 1 on first down. Throwing on 2nd and long. Lawrence. Throwing left side, it's complete. And the Jags have 5 in the secondary here on 3rd down. Looking to throw, Lawrence. And this is going to be incomplete.
Looks like a second empty possession to start the game, and certainly not the way you want to start when you're coming off of a loss last week. Every team talks about starting fast. They're hoping on their next possession, it can be a delayed fast start and get them going.
We'll call that a 43-yard punt, 2 on the return. And the Jaguars go on offense, 1st down and 10. So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. Fields tapping it forward, jet sweep. Down he goes at the 23, a pickup of 4.
That's a nice job there defensively, being able to diagnose that little touch pass. They saw it coming, converged on him before he could get much out of it.
Coming up on a 2nd and 6. Here's the first carry of the game for Cam Akers. Gets around him, and he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. Seemed like a couple sets of eyes were on the quarterback, so he decided, hey, I'm going to hand this off. Got a good gain out of it.
And you know you need good blocking up front in order to gain yardage, but every one of these RPOs, if you do it right and they look the same, whether it's handed off inside or the...
Oh, into a sea of defenders and intercepted. Picked off at the 19. And he'll bring it all the way back, just a yard or 2 shy of midfield. So they tried to take the deep shot there, but this defense up to the task.
And a lot of times when you air a ball out like this, if it does get intercepted, there's going to be a lot of space out there to set up a return. And remember, you've got 5 big offensive linemen out there playing on their feet in open space. Not a skill most of them possess that allows for extra yardage on the return.
Yeah, he's going to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. They had 3 tight ends in on that set, and they were really good at blocking for their running back.
And give them a lot of credit because in football nowadays, tight ends coming out of college often don't block very often. These guys have really developed into superior blockers, and that's why they use them in this formation so often.
And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And it'll be 2nd and very short. Now Lawrence to throw. And that's incomplete. And Charles, you look at this defense, they were a very loose group coming into the week, knowing they kind of had the upper hand going into this one, taking on a team that hasn't won in a month and a half.
And that works well for you if you establish your dominance early in the game against a team that's struggling. But if somehow they fashion some plays together early, knock them back on their heels, that looseness can be used against them. Then they're trying to scramble to make sure they get their game right.
And he will have the Bears first down. At least it would appear that way. He didn't get it by much, but yes, they do get the conversion on 3rd and 1. On first down, Lawrence. And he's got his man in stride, complete. Touchdown, Bears! A great play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Bears are an extra point away from tying the football game. Matt Amendola now for the extra point. It's up and good. So these teams match touchdowns here in the first quarter, and we're tied 7-7. So all even at 7 now as they kick it away. And he'll just take a seat, and the drive will begin at the 25-yard line. Jaguars come to the line to start their next drive. They're at the halfway point of the season, Charles. 8-0. What a great start. Clearly a Super Bowl contender, if not the outright favorite, through 2 months to win the whole thing.
Well, there aren't too many bad things you can say right now because this team is playing pretty well. They've had a couple of injuries. That could plague them down the stretch. But their intensity doesn't waver. I think the road to the Super Bowl is going to go through them in the playoffs. And if you're on their road, things could be bumpy for you.
And he'll let this one go deep for Chark. And that's caught inside the 30. Touchdown, Jaguars. DJ Chark with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Jaguars have taken the lead. Point after by Lambeau, up and good. And that makes the score 14-7. And Lambeau now, after the touchdown, he'll kick this one away. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And not a very good return at all, as he won't even get this back to the 15. Through one quarter, 14-7 our score. At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. They trail a one-score deficit, 14-7, as they come up 1st and 10. And now the Jags defense deciding to call a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. To Montgomery to begin the drive. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. 44 yards rushing for him now, and he's carried the ball just 5 times.
A big hole there. How about him handling the point of attack? Just positioning himself so that run could go right off of his backside and deep into the secondary.
Now Montgomery. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Myles Jack there to make the tackle.
I think what we just saw their partner was linebacking speed that can trump O-line power. We see that at times because he filled the gap before the offensive lineman could get to the next level and take him on.
Here's a throw out wide, complete to his running back right side. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up. Out of the gun, it's Lawrence. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. And he will have the Bears first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
That's a play that will likely be forgotten when you talk about big moments in this game. But plays like this are critical to keep drives going. And if points result, we'll call this play significant.
First down, here's the run with Montgomery. And he's going to take this across midfield into Jacksonville territory. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
2nd and 5 now. Lawrence going to throw right side here, complete. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Jaguars' 32-yard line. Running left, Montgomery. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
How about the job there on the outside? Shed the wide receiver and was able to make the tackle on the perimeter.
On 2nd and 11 now. Lawrence got a man over the middle, and it's complete. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made at the Jaguars' 15-yard line.
And this has been a nice answer to the touchdown drive against them a few minutes ago because they've come out and reestablished the tempo. A nice throw there, and they're putting together a very strong drive as a response.
Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. Eluding, and he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. Josh Allen, he's the one to get him, and that is sack number 7 for him on the year. These sacks now, they're starting to pile up, Charles, and that front 7 defensively, they've had their way with this offensive line.
And I think at this stage, we have to start thinking about different play calls. We've got to start helping this quarterback out because the entire game he's been under siege. I don't care what the down and distance, they've got to get the ball out of his hands a lot quicker.
That one doesn't find its target, but all in all, he's been much sharper this week. He was under 50% a week ago, and now he's up over 70%.
Well, you know it's standard for quarterbacks and receivers getting together for a little extra time each and every day.
All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off near the 26, the 30, 10, and he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. So this defense doubling its pleasure there. Remember, they had the fumble return for a score earlier in the game, and now this time an interception return for another score. Extra point tacked on by Lambeau, and it's now 21-7. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. They'll elect to bring it out here from the end zone. And he's probably realizing he should have stayed in the end zone as he can only muster a return to the 14-yard line. The Bears offense ready to go for their next drive. And following the pick 6, and they have decent field position in throwing that pick 6. We'll see how they attack this drive.
And I think all you say to your guy is, listen, let's just take care of the football a little bit better. Make some better decisions on this drive, and they'll probably help him a little bit with maybe some really high percentage throws early to let him get settled back in.
But they told us, they've got confidence. That's not a problem.
Yeah, not a problem at all. They just want to make sure they get things settled down a little bit for their offense and give their defense a little bit of a chance to rest.
Coming up at halftime, I'll go from one personality, that's you, Charles Davis, to another one in Orlando, the coach. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL. You and Jonathan Coachman, both larger than life.
No doubt about it.
But you're stuck with me in this booth,
yes,
and he's miles away and smiling.
And happy.
And they'll throw on first down with Lawrence. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Now the Bears going to call the first of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. Lawrence. And the Jags get to him as down he goes. Now the Bears going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important third down. Here's Lawrence to throw. Going down the middle, and it's complete. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. Throwing now, Lawrence on first down. And an incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock here with just under a minute to play in half number 1.
They've given up a few first downs on this drive, but getting the incompletion there, that should give them something to build on and maybe turn the tide.
Here's 2nd and 10.
Hurry. Hey, exit. Get it.
From the gun, it's Lawrence. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off near the 34. And the return stops just a few yards shy of midfield. They'll spot the ball at the 47-yard line.
When a team's turned it over 3 times in the first half, we just look at the offense and say, guys, what are you doing? But instead, we really should be looking at the defense. They've created the takeaways. 2 interceptions, 1 caused fumble. They played awfully well swarming to the ball here in the first half.
toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. Those are the kinds of plays right there that show you why he's the number 3 man in the NFL in terms of receiving yards.
Also tells you there's a full combination of what he's got going in his game. You name it, from route running to catching the football. That's why he's able to produce those types of numbers.
And he'll lose yardage here, going down back at the 28. Now the Jags will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. Looking at a 2nd and 11 now after the loss. From the gun, here's Fields. Escaping the pressure right. And he will go down outside of the pocket for a sack. Tried to get away, but could not. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He'll rifle this one deep right side. And that is incomplete.
He did a fine job there of not hitting him before the ball arrived. And I've got to tell you, you can often mistime that play because of the angles of approach. When you're going to get him, sometimes you panic as well and think, I've got to be there right now. Instead, in this case, timed it perfectly and knocked it free.
So the turnover leads to points as they add 3 there.
Yeah, what a sequence there, and a nice one for them. They force the interception, put together a little drive, and then come away with 3 points. Nothing to it, partner. Just do it.
So we've reached halftime here with the visiting Jaguars out on top as we send you down to Orlando where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach.
These two teams currently going over their final halftime adjustments. We are just about set to get back to it in the second half. And for the call, let's go back to Soldier Field and Brandon Gaudin.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. The Jaguars in possession of the lead, and they will get the football as we are underway in the second half. And he will not bring it out. It's a touchback. Jaguars come to the line to start their next drive. And Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more, because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing it, but I think these first couple of drives, they'll want to get those running backs going and give them more opportunities, and I will guarantee you that those guys were lobbying for them in the locker room at halftime.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. So this game, Charles, you know, we talk about potential unbeaten seasons a lot. It feels like every year at some point in the season we talk about that. But this is one of those games where if you're unbeaten, you got to be careful. You can't take this one too lightly.
You're exactly right about that, and by rights, this should be a cakewalk. Almost a week off. Let the starters run up the score in the first half. Backups get to play in the second. But you and I both know that funny things sometimes happen when you think this way. So it's incumbent upon the starters to really play well to make it work for this team.
Now he's going to throw deep right side. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 17. Pretty much everything went their way offensively in the first half, but now an interception on the opening drive of the third quarter.
As we know, the key to everything here, don't get careless with the football. The problem is you've got to stay aggressive as well. So where's the line between being aggressive and attacking and being overly aggressive? I think they just crossed it on that one.
And he's going to lose yardage here back to the 14-yard line. But despite the completion, they're going to wind up losing 3 there. Second down.
Break. 44 Mike. Check. Ready? I got 15. Now.
On play action, Lawrence. And he's going to be intercepted a third time. Picked off by Tyson Campbell. And he will return this one to the 30-yard line. Second straight drive now here, Charles, and have ended with an interception.
And I just wonder, because I don't think it's going to rattle him necessarily, but I also wonder if it's going to unnerve him a little bit. Does it lead to another one? Or does he find a way to pull it together and become sharp again?
It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
He hadn't had a ton of success here so far, but you get the feeling that he might be on the verge of popping one.
Yeah, even on that one, there was a little bit of a hole, but it closed there quickly at the end. A play fake, now Fields to throw. Sliding out of the pocket. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Jacksonville. DJ Chark, his 2nd touchdown of the game and his 9th on the year. And the forced turnover on defense leads to 6 points. Point after by Lambeau, up and good. And the lead is now 24. And Lambeau now, after the touchdown, he'll kick this one away. And we'll see a return here from the end zone. And he's probably realizing he should have stayed in the end zone as he can only muster a return to the 14-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
Flushed out right. Throwing the out route incomplete. That's Osborne. 7 yards to pick up there. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
2nd down and 3. Now a run with Montgomery. And he's going to get forward for about 5, but that may be coming back. What say you, Mr. Referee? So some holding over on the left side of that O-line.
And I know for the guys trying to move those big defensive people, they'd love for them to stay in one spot, but they move around so quick and so fast that sometimes you just have to grab them.
On 2nd down, Montgomery. And he takes us across the 15 to the 17. 4 yards on the pickup there as they get it back to a more manageable 3rd and 7.
But you've got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
On 3rd down, Lawrence. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. And now before they run this 4th down play, we're going to get a timeout. And that's going to leave them with just 1 timeout remaining still in the 3rd quarter. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them. We'll be back. So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. Take it at the 37. That'll be a 43-yard punt, but a net of just 33 following a 10-yard return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Jaguars come to the line to start their next drive. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. On play action, Fields. And that's complete. Albert Okwuegbunam. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. Now a give, Akers running left. And not able to break away this time as they're going to stop him right around the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. Here's Fields. He'll get that complete to Albert O. He's been quiet today in the passing game, just his 2nd catch.
Yeah, and people have to come up with schemes to limit him. And what a lot of teams do, they'll double him, use a linebacker underneath, a safety over the top. Sometimes they'll just take a corner, maybe their 3rd corner if he's a bigger guy, and put him on a man-to-man to try and limit his touches. Just keep mixing it up, give him different angles, different looks, like a good boxer does.
He gets 7 out of it, and he also gets a first. On the handoff, running left is Akers. And he's going to push his way down to about the 12. A solid run on 1st down, gain of 7, leaves him with a 2nd and 3. And 3rd quarter here, you've got the lead. This is where that strong run game can really benefit you. Stayed in bounds there, kept the clock going.
I like all the points you just made there. And if you throw the football and it's incomplete, now you've stopped the clock, and you've helped out the guys on the other side of the ball. So keep it in the hands of those runners. Keep moving it. Keep grinding clock.
Give him a yard on the run there, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 2. Fields tapping it forward, jet sweep. Oh, a good move at the 5, and he couldn't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. It'll be 1st and goal when we come back. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And he'll take this one in for a Jags touchdown. A great effort there. His 6th touchdown of the season. And the Jaguars add on to their lead, and it's looking like that win streak is going to extend another week. Extra point tacked on by Lambeau. And the lead will swell by 1 more. And Lambeau now, after the touchdown, he'll kick this one away. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And he's probably realizing he should have stayed in the end zone as he can only muster a return to the 14-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
They go play action now. Lawrence. He finds his man, complete. It's Osborne. A gain of 6 there on 1st. They go play action with Lawrence. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Montgomery. And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line.
Another catch for him there on this drive, Brandon. And it looks like they're going to utilize him out of the backfield any way they can. And that time they pick up a 1st down. So now on defense, do you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going?
Now Lawrence on first down. Blitz coming, and down he goes. They'll wind up losing 8 on the sack there, and it's second down.
So if we recount real quick, he had the touchdown earlier, and now he comes up with the sack here. No doubt about it, he's having himself a game.
Another try after the first down sack. Lawrence. And this one almost intercepted. Far too loose with the football. Nearly a 4th pick of the ball game.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
Now Lawrence on 3rd and long. Going up top. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. And they'll try and throw for it with Lawrence. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And, boy, possession here turns over with the football already being in the red zone. Fields tapping it forward, jet sweep.
And a lot of times these plays, they either go for nothing or they go for big yardage. And here, they got to the outside, turned it upfield, and ended up getting a nice little gain out of it.
I'm coming for you, son. I'm coming for you, son. Just grab it. Just grab it. Here we go. Let's go.
Fields tapping it forward, jet sweep. And tackled down after a gain of 3. Leaves him with 1 yard to go on 3rd down. The Jaguars on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. They'll try and run for this with Akers. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Cam Akers, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Jaguars are on their way to a 9-0 start as they build on to their lead. Point after by Lambeau, up and good. And that will extend this big lead. And Lambeau now, after the touchdown, he'll kick this one away. They'll elect to bring it out here from the end zone. And not a good return here at all as they'll be forced to start at the 12-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done.
Well, this game was decided a while ago, and that completion there is going to artificially inflate his passing numbers. So right now, the only one really applauding probably his agent as he thinks about angling for a new contract.
They'll run on first down. It's Montgomery. A pickup of about 3 yards as he's taken down at the 31. 3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Again, they'll go ground with Montgomery. Shedding through the defense. Call it a gain of 5 there on the run, but they'll remain a yard or 2 short here with 3rd down coming up.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by Tyson Campbell. And the return this time will go out to the 42-yard line. CD, this defense, man, at this rate, they're just having fun out there right now.
And normally with this type of a lead, if you're a starter on defense, you're saying, hey, let the other guys play. But with this going on, no one wants to come out of the game. They all want their shot at picking off a pass.
Just what you want on a first down run. Call it 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 2.
57 to the mic. I got you. Go, go. 4, take 4.
They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2. So it's Jaguar football here as we welcome you back. They've got a 3rd down now as they look for one more first down to help salt this one away. Hands it off out of the gun. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped.
Brandon, sometimes it just comes down to the power of suggestion because I know exactly what they said all week long. We're coming off the open week. We'll have the fresher legs in the 4th quarter, and they will wilt when we get to that point. And right now, it appears that they're thinking that exact thing.
Yeah, offensively, they had the bye last week. Defensively, did not. Is that really a big factor? Is that more talk during the week?
I think the more that you talk about it, the more that you emphasize it, the more sometimes it comes true for your team.
And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. All right, I got to ask you, with these RPOs, essentially the quarterback has 3 options, right? So what's different from that versus the triple option that we see the service academies run at the college level?
As a general rule, the triple option at the college level, most things are called outside of the quarterback faking it to the runner and then keeping it himself and maybe having a trail back. What I mean is, in the NFL, that option to throw the football all comes about organically. It's a natural deal based on reads. In college, if you're going to throw the football off a triple option, you've actually called that play.
Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for the Jaguars, the train just keeps rolling. 9-0 now to start this campaign. And they'll have another road date next week with the Indianapolis Colts. Meanwhile, for Chicago, the difficult season continues as they drop to 1-8. And they'll try to get back to their winning ways next week as they head to Lambeau to take on the Packers.